In this video, we will learn how to implement the Firebase Firestore callback, and to demonstrate the callback, we will do the add node operation. How to create a node in the project. To save the time, I already designed the XML file of the node listing and node detail. So in the node detail, what we will do is to create a message. So that message we will store in the Firestore inside the document under the collection of nodes. So let's get into the code. First thing first, I will create a callback there. So first of all, I will create a function which will name it add node. It will accept node as a parameter, and then we will return the result as a lambda function. Why we use that, I will tell you later. Now let's implement that function. So I will also create a constant class where we mention the table name. Database collection, we will mention the table name. Firestore, Fire, I think we put it a wrong name for it. Let's just correct. S, come on, ST, yeah, no nodes. Add, we will pass that object, and then simply add the two callbacks. One is add on success listener, and the second one is add on failure listener. Now suppose, okay, let me tell you why we did not use as a return type like this one, UI state, and let's suppose we want to return string. Okay, the reason is that because we have already the callbacks of the success listener and failure listener. If we want to return something, then it will return to that listener. We can't return directly from the function. For that purpose, I use the lambda function. So I will use it as a callback to invoke that function and to pass the results in the view model. So that was the reason I use a lambda function instead of returning a result from there. Let's just remove that again. Okay, now I will invoke the result, invoke UI state success, and we will pass it dot document ID, which the newly document created. If it's error, then result, invoke UI state failure. In failure case, we will pass the message we get from the exception. So that was the reason we use the lambda function as a parameter to return the result. Now you will get to understand that why I use that. Let's just configure that function as well. How do we get database? To get all the documents from the collection, Firestore node, and then get add on success listener, add on failure listener. I will simply copy that. Now we need to change that to the callback. Let me just go there, result, and paste it. Now I will simply mention that, copy that and paste it there. Just change the type, not, remove that. Now we are good to go with it. So invoke result failure. In the success case, we need to convert that document into our model class. To do that, let me just create a for each loop document in it, and also we will create a list where we have nodes is equal to array of list, node is equal to document 2 object. We will mention the class we want to convert that object into that model class, node class or jar. It will convert that document into the node model class, and we will add that node model class into the nodes list. So this way we will get all the nodes and then pass that list into the result callback. Invoke UI state success and nodes. So that's how we get all the nodes, and in the below function we need to know that how we create a node. Now we will go to the view model and to do the necessary changes. I will remove that because we don't need anymore. Repository get nodes. As we in the parameter we have a lambda function, so that's why we have a callback there in the view model UI state. Now I will just simply set that nodes value is equal to 8. Now I will simply copy and paste it for add node, add node, add node. In the add node we need string because we will be passed the document ID. Okay, that is pretty much. Now we'll add another function, add node. We'll pass the node object, and there I will copy that to trigger the loading state. Now repository add node, we'll pass the node and we'll pass callback lambda function, and in return it will give us callback. Now add node value is equal to 8. Our view model is also ready. Now the third step is coming in the fragment level. So in the fragment currently we don't have a recycle view adapter. For the adapter I will need to create another class. We will call it not listing adapter. For the adapter class, to save the time, I already created the adapter and also designed the item layout for it. To go through the item layout, here is the item layout. So the parent layout is the card view and the inner layout is constraint, which consists of two different views. One represents to ID and second one is to represent the message. We also have two buttons to edit and delete the node, and also I have created a Kotlin class for it, So in the parameter lambda function, which will work as a callback, if an item is clicked, on edit item click, on delete item click, and here the data we get from the as a list, we will be setting one by one as item. So that's how the adapter class look like. Now to set the adapter, I will first go there. Now we need another thing is to show the progress bar. For the progress bar, I will simply use the progress bar and name it progress bar. We'll change its color to black. Okay, so that's pretty much for the progress bar. Initially we will hide it and we will show there in the load state. Now it's better to use the extension function for the visibility and gone for the view. To do that, I will create another class. We will call it extensions. That extension class will be extension of the view class. So there we will use that show function, and there we will use the hide function. We need another function which is called toast, and it will in the fragment level toast pass the parameter message. We will show that in the toast, and we will show the error in the toast message. Again, in the success we need to hide the progress bar, and now we need to have an instance of the adapter. We'll use the lazy on item click, and then for the next parameter we will use on edit click, and for the third parameter we will use on delete. Now it accepts two parameters. One is position, second one is item. Copy and paste. Initially I will set the adapter to the recycle view. We will also check if the linear layout is set in the XML or not. It's already set. Now as soon as we get the data, we will set to that adapter list. Update list, state data to mutable list. So that is for the listing screen. Now in the detail screen where we want to create a new node, in that case we first need a validation function. Is valid by default true if the node message has text. If the node message has not text, in that case the validation become false. Return is valid. We will also show a toast message to let the user know. Enter message. Now if a user click on the button, sit on the button, then first we need to check the validation. If the validation is true, then we need to have a view model instance first. I will copy from there and paste it there. View model add node. We'll create the node object. Initially I will set the ID empty, text, node message text to string. For the date, I will initially use the current date object. Now we need to use the live data observer. I will copy there and paste it there, and we will modify according to add node. So we have the button progress bar. We need to show that, and also show a toast message that node has been created successfully. So that is pretty much for the node creation. Now, so for the node listing screen, if a user click on the create node, then we need to redirect to the node detail screen. We have an extension function which gave us navigation controller, and we will use the navigate function r.id, then node listing. As in the initial video, when we were configuring the Jetpack navigation, we created a navigation between the screen. So using that action by this ID. Now it will redirect to the node detail screen. Now the progress bar is appearing, but the data is not there. Now to create a node, I will go to there. First we check the validation check if it's working or not. Yes, enter message. No. Hello, this is test node. I will click on it. Update. Node has been created successfully. Now if I go back, we have crashed. Let me check that why it's crashing. Could not deserialize the object. If you are using ProGuard, make sure. Okay, so this problem is actually happening with the Firebase case. If your model class doesn't have default value, suppose like this one, in that case it's crashing. So we need to assign some default values. Carry node. Now run it again. We'll get rid of this error. We already have created a node. Let me just go there, back there, and refresh it. As our project is already successfully run, but first we check the Firebase. As you can see, the message is appearing there. Note, we don't need the user collection right now, delete that, but the note entry is exists there. We have three fields, one is date, one is hello test, but the problem is that we have the ID field is empty. Now we need to check the ID field why it's empty. I will go to the note repository, and while adding the note, I will first there simply document document. Now we are facing an error. Set node.id is equal to document id. So this function will create a new document, and that document will assign to this document variable. From this document we will get the id and assign to node. It's giving an error because it's declared as a val. We need to change into the where. In that case we get the id. Now since we changes from add to set, in that case the listener is also changed. Initially it was giving us the document address, but now it's giving us nothing, it's a void. So for the void we need to pass a message from there. Node has been created successfully. I will go there and change that message because we already wrote that message in the repository. Now I will run it again and see the value. How we are getting this value? Seems like we have default value in the XML file. I will remove that, and also will change some make changes to the ID as well. Now let's create our new document. I will go to the create. Hello, this is test message 2. Now click on update. The note has been created. Now we are getting the note ID, but we have again a mistake because we are setting the note to the label, the note ID to the label in the listing it after. I will go there and it will call note value. Now it's look fine. Now we'll run it again, and let's check also the Firebase console. Now our ID is been setting to the ID, so with the both ID we match, it look like same. Now we have the two nodes there on existing screen. So in this video we learn how to create a node and how to push the result to the view, and also we need to make a very small change to the when the user click on the create button. In that case the button text should be hide. If the error case, it should be create. If I run it again, we will see if that change reflect there or not. Go to the create. By default in the XML file it's changed to the update. I will change again. Will should be create initially. Since the text message is still not hiding, now I will go there and hide there. In the loading case, we need to hide the text and show the progress bar. In the failure case or in the success case, we don't need to hide the text, since we need to hide the progress bar. I will run it again and let's just check it out. Go to the create and hello test 1. Now it's looking fine.